Baticans! Merge into BRUTICUS!
Welcome back to the Titanium Hanger. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about the Magic Square MS-B55C Space Shuttle, or their Blastoff. This is the last component we need to finally build BRUTICUS. And I've been looking forward to this for a while. We're going to finish this up. And it's also exciting because, of course, the Masterpiece one is being made. And so it's kind of like this is a prelude to the Masterpiece. But I did get this to Shows Store. I have a link down below where you can get yours. Remember, TH, reviewer code, if you help the channel out. And let's get in and take a look at Blastoff and building BRUTICUS in the Legend scale. Coming up. Alright, here's the box, the packaging, and it's exactly what you expect. So, it's got some G1-esque stuff going on to it. I mean, that almost looks like Transformers, right? And it's got the artwork on the back. You got the tech spec, and he has some low endurance, rank, and courage, and low strength. Yeah, that must be why he's an arm. Anyway, let's get into take a look at the figure. And here he is, and he looks pretty good. It's a good-looking figure, in my opinion. I think they've done a good job with him. One of the things that, well, I guess you want to say all the positives first and get into looking at him, but he looks good, looks like the character model, and of course this isn't, I don't think this is exactly the tune, I forget what this set, the C, no, yeah, C, it is more of a cartoon look to it. So, it's nice looking overall. Pretty clean. He does have a butt flap, though. That's something that we don't... He doesn't really show from the front. So, I mean, I don't think a butt flap's a fail. If you can't see it from the front, it's not really a fail. One thing, the wings here are a bit big. Now, I wouldn't want them to engineer them to be any smaller. But that is kind of... Out of all of this, I think that is the biggest kind of concern of mine on this figure, is the large wing legs. But then again, it just hides more components. It is so intricate in the transformation and complicated that I wouldn't want them to complicate it any more than they already did. So I'm perfectly fine with living with that. And then he's got some pretty thick arms, but it is almost kind of cool. It's almost like he's got sort of like a bit of an arm shield there. That is kind of cool. So overall, it's a good looking figure. I mean, Blastoff, I'm curious, and as I've been reviewing these, and since we know that the Masterpiece is coming, I'm so curious what changes they're going to make from this to the Masterpiece. So but it is cool looking overall. Let's get into some articulation. Let's see how his head doesn't go down much, but side to side and up. And I guess you could get some down like that. That's actually a good way to do it. Part of the transformation, of course, but it kind of goes back behind that, and you can get some down. I think that's the way, officially from now on, that's how a down look should work. I mean, works great. Okay, shoulder goes all the range you need, like 100% range. 360 range on a ball joint. The bicep swivel, you have a bicep swivel and you have a swivel at the elbow, which way more than you'll need. And then the hand does the side-to-side thing. Interesting thing how they do the transformation on that. So a nose cone hand reversal transformation. Waist swivel. The magic in Magic Square is usually the ab crunch. There it is. There it is. They never let you down on the ab crunch when it comes to Magic Square. A little bit past the 90 or right at the 90. Right here. Goes up to there. Back to... Oh, butt flap. Butt flapville gets in the way. We got some rotation and... little past the 90, the leg gets in its way because it's so chunky. The leg gets in its way. And then the foot moves. All this stuff. But that's pretty much all the foot movement you're going to get. But you will get what you need to give this guy a pretty decent pose. For the royalty, let's get a comparison here to Megatron and Optimus Prime. Yes, that's how he compares. I feel like that's great. And if you really look at like G1, the G1 stuff definitely does not kind of stack up to this very well. So I think that scaling in Legends and in Masterpiece is so much better than we got back in G1, and this works perfect for me. I don't think an arm on a 5-part combiner should be quite as tall as the rest of them, and so this gives you an idea of Masterpiece, probably where the Masterpiece 1 will scale up height-wise. Alright, here he is next to Arnhad and Hound. I think this is correct scaling. That works. And then I dug out, so I did some digging. This is the one Blastoff I have that's not connected to a BRUTICUS. And there he is. My BRUTICUS is very sad too. It's a sad excuse for a vintage BRUTICUS. So you see how much bigger he is than the vintage. Just to kind of get a size comparison. I know it's the wrong color and all that kind of stuff, but at least we get a size comparison. There he goes. It's the only accessory for this, but we're gonna get into transformation. So looking at this gun here, that's all he's got, and he's been holding it this whole time, so it's like nothing new, nothing to see here. Now getting into this transformation, this is going to be kind of complex, and I'm going to show you a couple things. First of all, I want to say that a lot of this stuff that we're doing is going to be mushroom pegs, which makes it hard. So this tab appears to be a mushroom peg, but it doesn't seem like there's an easy way out of it. There's not an easy way out of this mushroom peg. So I might have to get the ball rolling on some of this stuff. All right, so you open that up. You kind of move the hand in a bit. You rotate out the nose cone. You rotate in the hand, and then you push this back in. Now that tab actually is not a mushroom peg. Kind of feels like it. Now we're going to do that on both sides. I'm going to try to speed this up. All right, now we're going to kind of rotate things to get them into where they should be. So that it has to be a certain way for everything to fit. So you want this kind of, this setup. That's how it should look. So it'll all fit properly. We do the same thing on the other side real quick. I think I have, no, don't have that rotated properly yet. I'll rotate all this around. As you rotate around, you'll feel that things kind of fit right. Now this is already just starting to come apart on me, so that's good. That's nice. Rotate the head around on that. That will work. Then we're going to start splitting up all this stuff here. So we need to fold all this out and double fold this out. That folds out. This, wow, tighter than tight. This is tight. Tight. All right. Then we're going to fold this out. And this, I believe, we need to fold these pieces here out too. Come on. Like this, we're forming the upper portion of the jet, the cockpit. So some of this stuff is just time consuming. I'll get that piece out. All right, got it out. And then we flip. This kind of comes up and flips around. What? Why is it not flipping? Flip, flip, flip around. And then just come back down. And so now we kind of have this section here. That tabbed into place. This tabs into place. We're building this whole section here. Come on. Why is that not tabbing in? This has got to just go into place. Well, that's as good as it's going to get for me. We'll revisit that later if need be. Okay, so now we can go in. We need to fold this up. So this is all going to go into there and get them both in place. Then we're going to have the head ready to get tucked into here. And these side pieces are going to connect in to here. So you can see it has the little mushroom connection, and it has a mushroom connection on this side. You have to line it all up just right. I think this bottom one's the harder one to connect. So let's get the bottom ones connected and just kind of work in these top ones and then bring down this over that connection. And then we can have all this here to bring in and connect here, here, and here. Here, here, and here. Tab all this in. And we have the front lower section. This comes down. Snap it all in. We got the front. Now on to the lower body. And this is a little different. So we're going to fold this butt flap out. And it's just going to come up and stay out of the way for a while till we work on these legs, which it gets a little intricate with the legs. And we want to fold the feet out. I guess you can fold the thruster out now or later, whenever you would like. And it's kind of interesting how they do all this with these thrusters and stuff. Bring this down. We're going to bring this panel here out. We're going to lift this up. Fold this out here. And then fold up on this. Fold this bad boy down. Reclamp these in. Come on, reclamp in to here. Anyway, we got more stuff to do on the bottom anyway, so let's get into all of this. We have this panel comes out. We fold this out, and this open. This folds, okay, this tiny tab here folds out too. And we're creating the wing experience. So now we can get all this closed up. And I'm actually having a little trouble with this guy, but let's get this mushroom pegged in here. These mushroom peg into this, like that. I may have to do that off. No, I got it. Okay, I got it. I got it. Fold this wing part down. This goes into here. Yeah. And then that tabs into there. And you don't tab this in just yet because you're going to need it when you do both. And then we just start tabbing all the wing stuff in to make that work. And you can't quite get all of it till this is like a cleanup when you're done. You'll clean all that up when you're done. But that's basically one side, and then I'll get the other one done. But before we get into the other one, you want to get the tail fin out, and then do everything else the same. Alright, second verse. What is it the same as the first of our... Where have I heard that before? Okay, we've got the second verse done, and it looks like we can start tabbing this stuff closed. And then tab this stuff into itself on both sides. Now, see this? I lost that tab into there. That fold out tab. So I have to get it back out. Make sure it goes over. Up and over, not fold back in. Which is all the tab-tasticness. Now, feels like there shouldn't be that gap there, but I mean, I'll look at it when we're done here. But this is... And then that tab went back in. So we're tabbing it all back in. There is a tab on the sides that will hold these in place. But yeah, I'm going to have to go back through and get this tabbed in. But then these side panels got to come out. So this is the challenge of getting all this together. Plus we're going to have to put this lower tab into here and just clean up all of this. But yeah, that cleanup is I'm going to have to pull that back out, re-tab these mushrooms. And I wonder if the mushroom tabs are... exactly just flat, or if there's an angle to them so it clips in better on other sides. So just some challenges there, but I'm just gonna use a screwdriver. I think just pull them out. But I have to pull all that out and get all that out of there, clean it up real quick. All right, here we go in the alt mode, and it looks pretty good. And I'll point out a little bit of gappiness there that I didn't know, and this I couldn't get tab in 100%. It's a little gappiness there. Now that might be a me thing. I don't know. I tried to get that connected, but it still looks good overall. I mean, Really impressive. This section is real tender. It's hard to get all of it to tab in without these collapsing or these collapsing while you're trying to get these top ones tabbed in. So a little tricky on there, but on the back here we do have a little bit of, because of the transformation, adjustability on these thrusters, which I don't think I would want, to tell you the truth. But it's still kind of cool. Could make it look like they're actually moving. And then down here, I believe this is a landing gear. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. We got a little landing gear in there. We got these formed landing gears right there. So that'll work. Kind of cool stuff. Kind of interesting that they engineered all that in. This is going to be so much better in a masterpiece form. And although I want to say that the transformation's intricate, it is a bit on the intuitive side. Like, this panel opens up and 3 other panels fold out. So that's kind of what you expect in the masterpiece realm these days. And had they further engineered it to make the legs a little bit smaller, it would have been way more annoying of a transformation. So it wasn't really a bad transformation. In fact, I was expecting a lot worse, but we still haven't gone to arm mode yet, so we'll hold on to that one. All right, we got comparison for the comparison timer. Okay, this is the G2 or something, whatever. It's a different color than this one, but there we go with the G1, G2, Ruination, whichever one it is, and there it is. I picked these up for like $1. I think I paid $1 for that guy, and I'm pretty happy to have it. But I gotta say that it does match the G1. It's a nice upgrade, but we're starting to see Legends way bigger than G1. Kind of impressive. Here he is with a handful of his friends. I would believe that they're friends because of the same. Some of them are the same company. They're technically frenemies because Decepticon Autobot, and definitely a Ironhide frenemy. Ironhide's been getting a lot of attention lately. There we go. All right, turning this thing into arm mode. We're basically going to, well, undo everything we've just done and turn legs back into legs, compress the legs a bit. So there's a few things we're going to do. So go ahead and just pull this up to get the ball rolling. We can fold that in. And then we need to just separate all this and undo all this all this work that we have done must get undone. Untab this. Untab everything that tabs in. Alright, I went off camera for a bit. You probably will see it, and I'm just going to cut it out. I did this side off camera, so now I need to fix that. So I'm going to fix that. I am going to do this side in frame. Learn from my lessons. Maybe do a little better than the first one would have gone anyway. So what we're doing is just disassembling all of our work that we've done so far and then tucking it all back in. And then the same thing. This is going to go in. This thing here is going to, let's get down here. Disconnect. We're going to fold this down and fold this up on this. Open this tab to fold all that in, but we leave everything open. Leave it all open because you're going to slide on this slider joint here. Slide. There it goes, untabbed. And the reason for that is, and let me get everything lined up right, is because we're looking at it like this. We're going to slide this leg joint in to bring it down a bit. So slide, slide. Let's get the thrusters hidden away because they're not going to be needed for this next mode. When you fold this one around, you completely flip it. Flip the script. And it's going to tuck in. And then we have all this going on. We just close it all back up. Fold this up to here. Everything's closing back up. And then we can close this. Now, kind of curious, correctly, I guess I should check the instructions on that. Should we leave that out like this? It doesn't really make a difference. It's a pure aesthetic thing that you would want, I guess, but the original way it was is this was tucked in, but you can have that out or you can put it in. I think it would be cleaner if we just tuck it in, but wasn't it originally tucked in? That's a... I'd rather have the arm tight like that. Okay, we can get this pushed down onto here and rotate it. So we got an arm. Now, how is the connection? The connection is going to connect to it like this. So we need to open this up. And then it's going to connect right here. So it's ready for a connection, but we're not putting this on yet. We're going to build Bruticus. And let's get the hand out. Here's the hand, which I'm not sure if it really matters when you connect it, but there's these two holes, these two slots, and then connect it just like this. And then slide it around so that it all makes sense. So now we've got his arm ready to go to be connected. Now it's time to build Bruticus. And so you've been following this, you know that this is where I'm at. And I have been working on this as we go. So I think we're going to start this by combining. Let's get the legs on. And what you're going to do is you're going to put this in this slot, right? But as you put it in there, you're going to shimmy it on. And at the same time, see, it has its own joint you have to contend with to shimmy this onto here. And it's got to be tight because it's a knee and it's going to be holding weight. So this connection point here. Off camera, I had it on there nice and easy. On camera, it's always going to be a challenge. There it is. Now you want to open this up just a bit. On the hood, let's come up a bit so that you can, I guess you got to open these up too so that we can fit those into it. So pull all that off there, get this into here, and then tab that in place. Now, what is going on? Oh, this should be way easier than this, but you got to make sure those clear that section and so that it can come all the way over it, and then press it down and tab it in, and then reconnect these side pieces, and it should all work. This should have been a lot easier than this. I'm surprised this is challenging me so much. I hate to say I did that off camera, but I did that off camera, so that's... Once it's in place, it's tight, but it takes a bit to get it in there. I didn't think it'd be that hard, but I guess everything has to be super tight because it is a knee joint, so. All right, split this, and it just literally just collapses. If you can get this right, and you get it right on one side, it'll be right on the other. Which this one was like super easy earlier. And now doing it right now, not as easy. There we go, there's that one. And line this one up just right. Get it tabbed on. In place. Get it tabbed on. This is a little challenging, but again, you have to have some strong joints so that it can handle it. All right, now moving on up. We're going to need to disconnect this guy here. We need to get this torso on here. So it appears we're just going to pop this out. Slide this in place. Well, it's more slided in place on this guy, which is interesting. So you can't build him without all the components, like some of these combiners around here these days, like a Zeta and that. And then you're just going to reconnect the torso, which, again, everything seems so easy. And it becomes challenging. Arrgh. There we go. So now here's where we're at. Let's get him on solid footing. And he's a little imbalanced right now because he's missing an arm. So we got to get up here and put this arm on. Now this is another one that's not going to be the easiest thing in the world. And you're going to slide this up onto here, which we might need to use the joint. Slide this on. And then what we're going to do is reconnect all of this. But we got to get it in there like so. Well, there we go. That actually wasn't hard. And there's Bruticus, which probably have to mess with him a bit to get him stable now. But yeah, there's good old Bruticus. I'll get his gun in his hand. We'll come back and have a look at him. Here we are. The journey is finally over. Or has it just begun? We have built the Bruticus. And yeah, along the way, we're going to be building more Brutici in the future. But looks fantastic. I mean, they did an outstanding job on this. And now I'm starting to feel like he's... the way I spin him, he might not be balanced for this. But he looks good. And parts forming is the way to go. For the Legends scale, definitely the best Legends one we've got. Very posable and stuff. We'll take a quick look at all that stuff and do some comparisons. But yeah, good looking figure overall. It's just been almost 8 months. So it's only really been 8 months. But of course, they've already had the molds. They were just putting them out in slightly different colors. And I don't know. Do we like this color better? The blue one better? Which one's better? I'm happy with this the way it is. And so anyway, I'm interested in seeing what it looks like in Masterpiece scale. This was the fun picture that everybody was showing around the interwebs about the size of the figure versus the size of the leg. And what a lot of people aren't realizing is this has no thigh on it. It doesn't have a thigh on it yet. So can't really get a good idea of how big it's going to be. I think it's going to be in the 21-inch range. I do think so. I hope it's not an 18-incher. Not going to go tighten some of this stuff up on it. But still, this is a good look at Bruticus. Let's do the articulation of this guy. At this point, you're really just handling a, 10-inch figure or something like that. The head side to side, up and down. Arm goes to the 90, 360. I mean, it should have all this articulation. It's going to have great posability when it comes to the butterfly. I did knock the back of Brawl's leg piece off. We have bicep swivel. And it gets in the way of itself. And then, let's see, is it double jointed on that elbow? That's as far as I can get it to go. And 1, 2 points of articulation on each finger. Hands move. I mean, everything feels really good. In and out. Really good stuff going right there. And then waist. Waist has a swivel. Has an ab crunch. To next Sunday. Leg out to probably much the 90 as much as you can get. Folding forward really tight. Yeah, you can go to the 90, maybe a little past. I don't want to go too far with the folding hip flap because you got to bring that flap back. Bring that funky hip flap back. And then that's as far as that's going to go. And then we got thigh swivel. We got knee articulation. All kinds of good stuff. Bear with me as I reconnect this piece. All right, finishing up this articulation, we've got the foot, the feet doing their thing, and parts forming is great. That's how it should be, but pretty articulated for a combiner, and yeah, it's due to the parts forming. Alrighty then, I probably should clean up this old Iron Factory one a bit more than I have it cleaned up, but there we go with some comparisons. G1, Iron Factory, this thing blows G1 out of the water, and size-wise it is quite a big fellow. But yeah, it looks pretty good. This is what I would want for a Bruticus on my shelf. Looks really good. And now, as you can see, I mean, well, something's about to fall over, hit the table, and you can see it's standing there solid. Very solid figure. Once you get it all together, getting it all together is probably not the easiest part, but solid, looks good. Definitely an improvement. Yep. That's never supposed to look like G1 anyway, so that's not what they were going for. Devastator next to Bruticus. I'll say altogether, I think this was a lot of work. This is a lot of transforming to make it happen, but I think it was still easier in the long run than making this guy happen. But at the same time, and once I got them built in the combined mode, they're not getting broken down. This is how they stay forever. Because that's kind of how what my combiners look. I think they look good. And yeah, they look good together. They scale well together. I don't have the Minosaur. I actually have the KO oversized version of their Minosaur. Alright, here he is with some figures that you might have in your collection. You might have a Megatron. It's a slight chance you have an Optimus Prime. But you'll definitely have a Grimlock and a Slag. So that's how he scales. And I think it's just right. I wouldn't want him any bigger than this, especially for my shelves. And I'm already going to have to make him have a bit of a crouch and cheat a bit to fit on my shelf. Because I have about a 9-inch shelf. And this guy's about 10 inches tall. So anyhow, I think he fits, he works, he looks good. Great looking figure. So this is my look at the MS-B55C Space Shuttle, or their take on a Blastoff. Let's face it, the only reason I really wanted Blastoff was for Bruticus. Bruticus is victorious. And I gotta say that it's a bit fiddly with getting the transformation and a ton of different panels and getting all in place. And I had a little trouble myself with Swindle and getting that leg in place, but it worked out in the end. But this is a fantastic looking figure, and I'm really excited about the Masterpiece one. And I knew this would get me excited about it, but I have realistic expectations of the fact that there's a lot to this, to get it in this mode, to make it look as good as it does, and I'm happy with it. I'm super G1 Toon guy, so that's me, and I like this, and this is kind of a prelude to what we can expect with Masterpiece. You know they're going to redo a few minor things here and there as it comes, and it's going to have more premium finish in the Masterpiece scale. But I'm curious what you guys think. Do you guys like this? Do you want one of these? You can get a Blastoff and probably some more of these components, because some of them might be selling out though, at ShowZ Store, and it's the best price that I've seen. If you use the TH Reviewer code, you help the channel out, and I can take a look at more stuff just like this. But let me know in the comments below. Like, subscribe. Tell your hanger out.
Leave no trace of their insidious existence. I have prepared for this emergency, Megan. Bruticus, devastate, devastator.